Hello there and welcome to IMTV and this week's special Oilfield Minerals news programme. Coming up today, Oilfield Minerals Outlook 2013 takes off in Houston. Mineral industry experts discuss price volatility. And Preferred Sands opens a resin-coated proppants facility in Texas. First today, the Vice President of Logistics and Distribution at Baker Hughes has spoken out about the price volatility in the global oilfield minerals market. John Newcaster says these kind of changes are a wake-up call for oilfield service companies to strategically source minerals.
The two key industrial minerals that go into drilling fluids are bentonite and barite being the larger of the two. And price volatility in the last few years has been dramatic. Is starting in about 2011, the shortages that we've seen in China in particular, which is the main supplier globally, really caused significant pain because of not so much the price going up and the cost going up, but the rate at which it went up so dramatically. It really makes it difficult for companies in our business who are in long-term contracts with very large exploration and production oil companies to go in and get recovery from that. So unfortunately, what we see is value, shareholder value, go out the door in favor of the supply side, which is not really fair to anybody.
While raw material prices have been a major factor for the oilfield service industry, the last 5 years have been some of the best the sector's experienced. Since 2005, it's grown nearly 400%. That's a global market of almost $400 billion, of which the top 4 producers account for $107 billion. US frac sand producer Preferred Sands has opened the doors to its new proppant research and development facility in Houston, where it's developing a line of resin coatings for both high and low temperature wells. The company's Executive Vice President of Business Operations, TJ Doyle, explains why resin-coated technology is used in oil well drilling.
So the two primary reasons that resin coating technology is utilized in the well are for flowback control and fines migration. And the first, on flowback control, if you can imagine during the hydraulic fracturing process, tremendous pressure is used in order to pump the sand and fluids into the actual wellbore and the fissures themselves. So one of the things that resin coating technology can do is prevent flowback. So if you can imagine the resin coating going in behind the sand and creating a slug or a permeable cork, if you will, that once the pumping pressure is released, that it will hold the proppants in the proper place and allow them to do what they want to do.
So this cork or slug, as you're calling it, is that what we have here?
Yeah, so this is the result of what we call a stick test. So we put the resin under a simulated scenario of downhole conditions, and afterwards we bring it out and we dry it out and we run it through a test that will actually break the slug and give us a rating of the coating. The second reason that we have resin coating technology is to prevent fines migration. So under the pressures that are experienced downhole, the sand will ultimately pulverize against itself if it becomes extreme enough, and those fines will migrate and clog up a well. So what the resin coating does is it actually encapsulates the grain of sand, and if it does pulverize against itself, it prevents those fines from migrating. Similar to your windshield, if you were to break the windshield, your glass doesn't fall in your lap because it's coated on either side. And the same thing happens when you have a resin coating on the actual grain of sand.
The company's technology centre will be used to develop high-performance proppant solutions for more efficient and cost-effective natural oil and gas drilling sites, with a focus on developing the RCS Garnet and RCS Pearl product lines. Now, the global outlook for shale oil and gas remains positive, with shale gas expected to lead growth in total gas production through to 2040. That's according to the latest research from the US Energy Information Administration. Their project manager for world shale oil and shale gas resources and activities explains in more detail the findings of their report.
Only Canada is right now producing shale gas. Something less than half a BCF per day. The United States is producing something like 28 BCF per day. Canada, they have good geology and they have the infrastructure and they have technical skills, and actually the same operators who are operating in the United States, some of them are also operating in Canada. So we see that right now Canada is the only countries after the United States who are producing shale gas and shale oil on commercial capacity.
The EIA's report entitled The World Outlook for Tight Oil and Shale Gas Development is available to download from their website. And finally today, the latest Industrial Minerals Roundtable took place in Houston, Texas last week. More than 230 delegates gathered to hear the latest from those leading in the oilfield minerals sector. Hughes reports.
We've had an excellent 2 days here in Houston. We've covered a variety of topics packed into the 2 days over 8 sessions. We've covered topics from the potential for world oil and gas supplies. We've also looked at different industrial minerals, including frac sand, barite, bentonite. We've also looked at the use of minerals like graphite in the oilfield minerals industry. And across these 2 days, we've seen presentations from speakers from around the world, and in fact we've had delegates come from all 4 corners of the world as well, so it's been really great to see the event mature and grow this year. In addition to the fantastic 2 days of presentations, we've also had great networking opportunities, and deals have been struck across the board. Keep an eye on indmin.com for news updates.
Now, if that's whet your appetite for the next IM Roundtable, make sure you sign up for China's Industrial Minerals and Markets taking place this September in Shanghai. As usual, you can sign up on the Inmin website by simply clicking on the banner at the top of the page. Well, that's all we have time for this week. If you have any comments or feedback, we'd love to hear from you. You can get in touch via Twitter @Indmin or contact us through our website www.indmin.com. Thanks for watching and see you again soon.